Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, today we are going to discuss profit and loss accounts problem. We will just take one problem from your book and try to solve it. You should try your best to understand it. Profit and loss account problem with solution. As you know, the profit and loss accounts main structure is like just this one. First of all, at the top, write down the name of the company, the name of the business. On the second line, we will write down the name of the statement. If you are going to prepare trading account, then we will write down over here the trading account. Now we are going to prepare the profit and loss account. Therefore, we will write down over here profit and loss account. And if you are going to prepare the balance sheet, then we will write down over here the balance sheet. In short, you will write down the name of the statement in the second line. Whatever the statement you are going to be prepared, you will write down the name of that statement over here. So profit and loss account is our statement. So we will write down profit and loss account, and then for the year ended December 31st or June 30th or any other date which has been mentioned in the problem. Then all the expenses on the debit side, on the left hand side. While you are writing down the expenses, the expense may be categorized under further three subheadings, or expenses may be written straightforward ignoring these three subheads. And on the credit side or right hand side, you will write down the incomes or revenues, all those revenues that have been generated from other sources, not from the main sources of the business, but from other sources of the business. So this is the main structure which you should keep in mind while we are going to solve this problem. And the main short summary of your profit and loss account is just like this one: name of the company, profit and loss account for the year ended December 30th, 2020, or as the date given in the question. These are the three headings, subheads. These are the gross profit, trading account result, or revenues from other sources, then net profit or net loss. This is the short form of your profit and loss account. Let's take one problem. Prepare the profit and loss account of Mr. Naeem for the year ended 30th June 2017 from the followings. These balances are given. Out of these balances, with the help of these balances, we have to prepare the profit and loss account of Mr. Naeem. Gross profit. This is the result of, or this is the outcome of the trading account. Gross profit. We will start the question. We will start the profit and loss account with this digit. Then salaries, rent and rates, general expenses, discount allowed. All these are expenses which we will write down on the debit side of the profit and loss account. Then discount received and interest received. These are the sources of other incomes. So these will be recorded on the credit side of the profit and loss account. Then again, depreciation, commission paid, bank charges, and bad debts. These are again 4 expenses which we write down on the debit side of the profit and loss account. So question will be solved. We will solve the question in 2 parts. In the first part, prepare the profit and loss account of Mr. Naeem for the year 30th June 2017 from the following. We will solve it first of all, and then on the second stage we will solve this part of the question. How we will record these 2 lines in the profit and loss account, or how these 2 lines will be affected by the profit and loss account. Let's see these 2 lines recording in the profit and loss account, the process, the way in which these 2 lines are recorded in the profit and loss account are, these are the same 2 lines. Prepare the profit and loss account of Mr. Naeem for the year ended 30th June 2017 from the following. We will write down first of all the name of the business, the name of the organization, the name of the person to whom we are going to prepare the profit and loss account, or the Mr. Naeem's profit and loss account we are going to be prepared. So write down the name Mr. Naeem, Mr. Muhammad Naeem. On the first line we will write down Muhammad Naeem, and on the second line we will write down the name of the statement which we are going to prepare. In this question we are going to prepare profit and loss account. So in the second line we will write down profit and loss account, and in the third line we will write down the time period for which we are going to prepare profit and loss account. The time period is 1 year, and this year is ended on 30th June 2017. So write down this time period for the year ended June 30th 2017. And then there are 2 sides, debit side or expense side, credit side or revenue side. So these 2 lines are recorded. Now let's see the second part. This is just the first part as we have just recorded. Now the second part of the question is this one. The data has been provided and we just write down the data in the proper side. Expenses are on the debit side, revenues are on the credit side. So first of all we are going to start with the gross profit, the result of the trading account, which is 39,880. So write down the gross profit. This is our profit, so we write down on the credit side gross profit 39,880. So this is our gross profit, the gross profit recorded. Then next is the salaries. Salary is our expense, and expenses will be recorded on the debit side or on this side. So write down salaries, and the amount is 12,900. Next is rent and rates, another expense 2,600. Rent and rate will also be recorded on the debit side of the profit and loss account. So write down rent and rates 2,600. So these 2 expenses have been recorded. Next is general expenses, another expense 7,900. So write down on the expense side general expenses 7,900. So these 3 expenses has been recorded. Next one is discount allowed. Discount allowed is another expense, so this will also be recorded on the expense side or on the debit side. So discount allowed 1160. Next is discount received. Discount received is our income, discount received is our revenue, and this is the other source of revenue. So we will record down this revenue over here, over credit side of the profit and loss account as discount received 200. Interest received, another revenue, so this also will be recorded on the credit side of the profit and loss account. So write down interest received, other source of income, revenue, so discount received. Next one is depreciation. Depreciation is our expense, so it will be recorded on the debit side of the profit and loss account, as all expenses are recorded over here over the debit side. So depreciation will be recorded on the debit side. Next is commission paid. Remember, commission has both aspects. If we paid the commission, then it is our expense and it will be recorded on the expense side. If we received the commission, then it's our income and we will write down over here over credit side of the profit and loss account. Here commission paid, so this is our expense. We will write down commission paid 400 rupees. Next is bank charges. Bank charges are also our expenses, as all charges are our expenses. So we will write down it on the expense side as bank charges 40 rupees. Then the last item of the data which has been provided, bad debts. Debts mean loan, amount receivables. So bad debts are those debts which cannot be recovered, which cannot be received due to any reason. So these are also our expenses or losses. Therefore we will record these bad debts on the debit side of profit and loss account. So all data has been posted in the profit and loss account. After recording all the given data, the next step is get the total of these revenue items and also the total of these expense items, all these expense items, and write down somewhere on a rough place. Then match these two totals, the total of the revenue side and total of the expense side. The total which has a greater value, that total either of this side or this side. If we see just our question, this side has a greater value, this total, the total of the revenue side is greater than the expense side. Therefore we will write down the total revenue side total, income side total, which is a greater one over here. As this total is greater than this one, therefore we will write down this total over here as well. If unfortunately expense side total is greater than the revenue side, then this greater total, if it is there, then we will write down that total over here and also over here. But in this question, the total of the revenue side is greater, therefore 41,360 is write down over here and also over here. But remember one thing, that this total is not equal to 41,360. The total of this one, the total of all these expense items is little bit less than 41,360. That is the total of the revenues. Or in other words, we can say that the revenues, the total of the revenue side is greater than the total of the expense side. How much this total is greater than the expense side? Find out that difference, and this difference in the accounting is called balance. The difference between debit side and credit side of any account is called balance. So we have find out the balance or the difference. This difference is written over the shorter side. This side is shorter than this one. So that is why we have write down the total over here. Difference balance 13,600 will be written over here. As revenues are more than the expenses, therefore the business of Mr. Naeem is earning profit. So revenues are more, expenses are less, and Mr. Naeem's business is running in the profit. Mr. Naeem's business is enjoying the profit. So profit and loss account of Mr. Naeem has clearly told us that Mr. Naeem is earning profit of 13,600. That is why we have prepared the profit and loss account of Mr. Naeem, so that we can be in a position to judge whether Mr. Naeem is earning profit or unfortunately suffering loss, if any. So Mr. Naeem is earning profit. It's very clear after preparing profit and loss account of his business. After doing all the question, after doing all the problems, your solution will be like this one. The outcome of your question, the result of your question, the solution of your question is just like this one. So do it again, try to understand. Thank you very much.